Hello and welcome back to Invoked 101, the only channel that is talking about Ancient Gears right now. That's probably false, but we do have an Ancient Gear deck profile right here. If you like this, give a like, give a comment. Don't subscribe, I don't upload. Let's get these off to the side, and we're going to do this as we normally do, starting off with the main deck monsters, moving into the spells and traps, and then the extra deck. So, starting us off, we have the new monster, which is a 3 of. This is Ancient Gear Tanker. On normal or specialed, you can special summon an Ancient Gear from your hand, except Tanker, ignoring summoning conditions, or if your opponent controls a monster, you can summon one from the graveyard instead. It also allows you to target a card you control, face-up card you control, and destroy it, and for the rest of this turn, all monsters you control that are Ancient Gear Golem or mention it gain 600 attack, and so that's like a lingering effect, so anything that's summoned after this effect is activated also gets the bonus. It's not just a one-time buff for what's currently on the field. After that, we get the new Ancient Gear Golem, Ancient Gear Dark Golem, the first worthwhile special summonable Ancient Gear Golem. This guy says he becomes Ancient Gear Golem while on the field in the graveyard. This card is normal or special. You can add up to 2 cards, Ancient Gear cards and or Gear Town, from your deck to your hand, except Ancient Gear Dark Golem, then discard 1 card. You also cannot set cards for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect of Ancient Gear Dark Golem once per turn. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. 3,000, 3,000, a fantastic addition, being able to fulfill those Ancient Gear Golem requirements, as well as being a Stratos. The last new monster that we got, actually no, we got another new monster, I almost forgot. But the last of the good new monsters that we got is Ancient Gear Commander. Ancient Gear Commander is a 500 2000 Earth machine with the effect of you can send an Ancient Gear Golem from hand, deck, or face-up monster zone to the graveyard. Immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon an Ancient Gear monster. If you normal or special summon Ancient Gear Golem, except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear Golem from your hand or graveyard, ignoring summoning conditions. You can banish this card from the graveyard, place an Ancient Gear Continuous Trap from your hand face up on the field. You can only use each effect of Gear Commander once per turn. That second effect of banishing him from the grave to get the bonus effect is incredible. It helps this deck out a lot, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. Rounding us out for the last of the multiple Ancient Gears is 3 Ancient Gear Wyvern. This is the Stratos of the deck. On normal or special, add an Ancient Gear card from deck to hand. Except Ancient Gear Wyvern, you cannot set cards for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. Your opponent cannot activate monsters during... if this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate their monster effects until the end of the damage step. So, pretty good. For our 1-ofs, we have the other new card, Ancient Gear Dragon. This guy is great. Level 5 Earth Machine. Cannot be special summoned. If you control no monsters or all monsters you control are Earth Machine monsters, you can normal summon this card without tributing. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card, or effect, quick effect, you can send to the graveyard 1 machine monster from your hand or face-up field, or 1 Ancient Gear Golem from the deck and negate that effect. This is fantastic. I love this card. You can special summon it off of the Gear Tanker or off of Catapult. This is a great piece if you're going first to just play it on your board as part of your starting thing. Play this, play Dark Golem, and you are set. Speaking of 500 Earth Machines, we are playing 1 Ancient Gear Box to search them, Ancient Gear Frame for more searches, Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon for damage, 1 Ancient Gear Golem for the effects, for Dragon and for Commander. So there we go. That is it for the Ancient Gears monsters. I find that this ratio is pretty good. I believe this is a 42 or 43 card deck, and I've not totally bricked on multiple occasions. This is a very good ratio for these guys, and it plays all the ones that I think are worthwhile playing. We also have a few other monsters, that being Magical Hound, who is a 500 Earth Machine tuner, and if this card's in hand or grave, took out a face-up spell or trap your opponent controls, return it to hand. If you do special summon this card, you can only use this effect once per duel. This is a fantastic effect, allowing you to out back row from the hand, so it's a little harder to deal with, and it's an Earth tuner, so just fantastic card all around. And 1 Regulus just for the negate. Last monster in the deck is 3 Ash Blossom. That is it. That is the end of the main deck monsters. Moving into the spells and traps, this deck does rely very heavily on its spells. Starting us off is the brand new one, that being Ancient Gear Advanced. This is a continuous spell that on activation, add an Ancient Gear spell or trap from deck to hand, except Advance. Once per turn, you contribute a monster, draw a card, and apply this effect. For the rest of this turn, even if this card leaves the field, you can normal summon Ancient Gear Golem or level 5 or higher monsters that mention it without tributing. You cannot set cards the turn you activate this card. You can only activate one Ancient Gear Advance per turn. This is a fantastic addition to the Ancient Gear lineup. Being able to grab you Ancient Gear Catapult, being able to grab you Ancient Gear Fortress. This is just a fantastic start to the thing. More consistency is always important. Speaking of Catapult, we play 3 Catapult to pop our stuff and get more summons. Speaking of popping things and getting summons, 3 Gear Town, you gotta play 3. It is so good and so easy to search and so easy to destroy now. I'm only playing 2 of this, Ancient Gear Fortress, even though I actually think it's one of the most important parts of the deck. This says that your Ancient Gears cannot be targeted or destroyed the turn that they are special, and that is a insane, like, additive effect. The turn they're summoned, your Ancient Gear monsters cannot be targeted or destroyed by opponent's card effects. And then it says your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of Ancient Gear cards and effects. If it's destroyed in the spell and trap zone, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from your hand or graveyard. You also cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except Ancient Gears. This is so good. I wish I had a third one. I wish they would reprint it, because this is like the most expensive card in the deck right now because it only has the structure deck. But yeah, I would play 3 of this if I had 3. 1 Ancient Gear Fusion, I've thought about playing 2. But now we move into the other spells, that being 3 Urgent Schedule. I feel like this is a really important card for Ancient Gears. We have a lot of high-level stuff, so being able to just get like link plays going second, this is a really useful card for that. 2 Triple Tack, just because, in case we don't see the Fortress. Forbidden Droplet for going second, because this is a OTK style deck. And then for the traps, we do have the new one, Ancient Gear Duel. This is the trap that you're going to be placing off of that Ancient Gear commander. So his effect is Ancient Gear Golem and monsters that mention it in your monster zone are unaffected by opponent's activated monster effects. If your opponent controls a monster, you can fusion summon. You can fusion summon 1 fusion monster that mentions Ancient Gear Golem from your extra deck by banishing monsters from your field or graveyard as material, including Ancient Gear Golem you control and if you do, it can make up to 3 attacks during each battle phase. You can only use this effect of Ancient Gear Duel once per turn. This effectively makes Megaton Golem worth playing now. I really do like it. I think it is the best trap card that Ancient Gears have, and it's the only Ancient Gear trap that I play. The other 3 are Infinite Imperms. So with that, that is it for the Ancient Gear main deck. I currently like this. I know that there's like a 50 card build that the guy at the YCS was playing. I've thought about trying that out, but honestly, I prefer to keep it as Ancient Gear as possible. Moving into the extra deck, you know we got to play him, and this is actually the reason that I was able to do this deck profile. Shout out my boy TCG Cardcast. We have 1 Ancient Gear Ballista. This is their link monster that searches Gear Town and pops Gear Town and drops an opponent's monster to 0, so it helps you go for those OTKs and extend. Platinum Gadget for extending. Boral Sword for the OTKs. Access Code for OTKs. And that's it for the links. Those are all the links we play. We used to play Appaloosa, but we don't anymore. For fusion monsters, we play the 1 Chaos Giant because it lets us OTK, the 1 Megaton Golem because it can punch through things and lets us OTK and floats, Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem because this floats into that, 1 Ancient Gear Howitzer because it's funny. I almost never summon this, but you can summon it. 1 Naturia Beast. This is cool going first if you have Magical Hound. If you have the Magical Hound playing, you can throw this up. This is a great wall to put up against almost any deck nowadays. This against Runic plus Ancient Gear Fortress is game over for Runic. 1 Baguska, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Gaga Cowboy, 1 Dingirsu because we can make it, and 1 Divine Arsenal Zeus, again because we can slap it on top of any of these. And that is the deck. That is my Ancient Gear deck. I quite like it. I've been playing this a lot. I've been playing Ancient Gears since they got their new support, and I've really enjoyed them. It's a deck I didn't think I would like coming back to and playing because I thought it was really bricky, but now having played it and with the new stuff, it really smooths out the line and shockingly brings Ancient Gears really into the modern millennium. It takes them from this garbage GX deck that really had a tough time with their other new support that focused way too much on Ancient Gear Golem and Ancient Gear Golem Ultimate Pound into just focusing on Ancient Gears themselves and letting them summon big beefy monsters that attack multiple times. It still focuses on Ancient Gear Golem, but now that Ancient Gear Golem is a card worth summoning. So I really like this. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. This has been Invoked 101.